So here's a depiction of the whole neuron, and this is a vertebrate motor neuron, so like a mammal, anything with a human in it. And the motor neurons look generally like this. They're the easiest to depict, so these are often in the schematic. And motor neurons typically, because they have the axons have the furthest to go, are often covered with myelin. So here you have the soma, which means body, the dendrites, and you see how these taper, some dendritic spines. The nucleus, the little extra darker is the nucleolus, which houses the chromosomes. The axon hillock, which is right before the axon, and this is where, if information is coming in through the dendrites into the cell body, then everything is going to be determined at that axon hillock right before it goes down the axon if there's going to be a signal or not. So there's like mad calculations because this information is coming in from all these different areas as well as the cell body itself. And then if the voltage, because these signals are electric, if the signal is enough to send an action potential, then it's going to go down at the length of the axon, which does not taper. Its diameter remains constant, remember. And here you also see the depictions of myelin sheath. The in-between space is called a node of Ranvier, after Ranvier, who discovered this area where this saltatory conduction takes place, and we'll learn more about that. You don't actually see the entire axon because it wouldn't fit on this page, but the presynaptic terminals appear as if they're touching this muscle fiber, and you see all these nuclei on this piece of muscle, because this motor neuron is going to signal some muscle somewhere to do something. Let's go to the next one. So the motor neurons generally have the cell body in the spinal cord, and they're getting information, excitatory information, from other neurons, and the action potentials, or the nerve impulses, are going to go along its axon to a specific muscle. Sensory neuron is specialized for each sense, so it's very specific in its design to transform outside energy into electrical energy that the nervous system can process. And so it's processing information from outside of the body to inside, and that information is going to go, if it's touch or proprioceptors in the skin, it's going to go to the spinal cord. If it's hearing or ear, that information is going to go into the brain. And here's a depiction of a sensory neuron. In this case, it's on the skin, and so information from the skin is going to travel into the nucleus, and again there's a cut away, and then that continues on. Intrinsic neurons or interneurons are the ones in which the cell's dendrites and axons are in a single structure. So they're not transferring between skin or muscle, but they're in one place, like in one area of the brain, like the thalamus. And they're conveying information only to very nearby neurons. So neurons are very small, especially those that are intrinsic neurons, to having axons that are much longer, sometimes as much as a meter in length or more. Their shape varies, and it depends on what their specialty is. Dendrites themselves can grow, extend, retract. It's very interesting. If you give a rat an enriched environment where there's a lot of play, you can actually see dendritic growth. What they do varies, and it is related to their shape. And I wanted to end here with your assignment of building a 3D neuron. And you can use anything you want. You've got a bunch of varieties. You got pipe cleaners, and it looks like those licorice whips and marshmallows and Legos. This is good because you see how these different areas are labeled. Oh, that's really good. This one has some gummy bears. It's all candy. This one is nice. You've got the different dimensions. You can see a lot of different areas. You've got endoplasmic reticulum. That's great. And a mitochondria. And you've got the nucleus, as well as the dendrites and the myelin sheaths, and then the presynaptic terminals or end axons. Here's another version. So it's you want to be able to build and let me see your work. You'll upload it with a cell or whatever you need to do to send me your images.